Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ralph Rangnick reveals that he's not spoken with Anthony Martial. Rangnick has told Martial to discuss his future with him personally. Now on Friday, Anthony Martial's agent confirmed that Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January. Martial wants more game time. He's not getting nowhere near enough game time at Manchester United. Martial has only started 2 games in the league so far this season. Martial is out with an injury at the moment. I'm hearing that Newcastle are the favourites to sign Anthony Martial. Barcelona are also eyeing up a move for the one-away striker. Martial's only enjoyed one good season at Man United, and that was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Manchester United paid an initial fee of £36 million for Martial. Now, Manchester United's game against Brighton this weekend is in doubt after Brighton confirmed a COVID-19 outbreak. Manchester United's game against Brentford tonight has been postponed due to a COVID outbreak at Manchester United. Yesterday, Manchester United shut their Carrington training ground. So obviously, the game against Brentford will be rearranged, and obviously the Brighton one will be rearranged if that gets postponed. Ralph Rangnick, he's enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Manchester United. So far, he's unbeaten. And reflecting on the win against Norwich last weekend, that's back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Ralph Rangnick. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. You know, if Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance that he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. As you all know, Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January. He can get quite a few players out of that. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. I can assure at the end of the season that Manchester United will get a permanent manager. There's been quite a few names linked with the permanent role at Man United. Obviously, Erik ten Hag has been mentioned. I'm hearing that Erik ten Hag is the favourite to become Man United's next permanent manager. When we revert back to earlier on in the season, it did say that Erik ten Hag is said to be interested in the Manchester United job. And Ajax will not stand in his way if he wants to leave at the end of the season. Now, revert back to the other week, like I updated you, Edwin van der Sar spoke about Man United's interest in Erik ten Hag. And Edwin van der Sar believes Ajax may lose Erik ten Hag in the summer. I presume there's a lot of United fans that would like to see Erik ten Hag come in. You know, you've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. Revert back to the other week, Roberto Mancini was also mentioned. It did say that Manchester United consider hiring Roberto Mancini instead of Mauricio Pochettino. Recently, Roberto Mancini denied becoming Manchester United's next permanent manager. Pochettino's obviously been spoken a lot about. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Pochettino did say a few times that he's happy at PSG and he won't let the Man United rumours distract him. And revert back to earlier on in the season, it said Manchester United made an approach for Pochettino, but PSG rejected Man United's approach. There was reports circulating out saying that Pochettino's interested in the Man United job, and it said Manchester United agreed to pay the 10 million compensation fee for Pochettino. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho. Manchester United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Pochettino is a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. He has won a French Cup with PSG. He's got a full season left on his PSG contract. He's proven in the Premier League as well, Pochettino, because before he managed Tottenham, he endured 5.5 years as Tottenham manager. In 2018, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, and at one point he almost won the league with Tottenham. Tottenham made a big mistake sacking him. And before he managed Southampton, Pochettino, he only enjoyed a short tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So there you go. And revert back to earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers was also mentioned, but I initially disregarded Brendan Rodgers because Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to the Man United job. He come out and said that I'm proud to be at Leicester. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Manchester United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Then Manchester United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite Man United winning the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he did win 3 trophies in his first season. The 3 trophies he won was the Europa League, the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board. Because the board weren't getting the players that Mourinho wanted in, and Mourinho also had bad disputes with the top players, so that's why. And over 3 weeks ago, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Manchester United sacked Solskjaer after the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Manchester United have just got to accept that they're not going to be the team there was under Ferguson, because no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Ferguson's the greatest manager of all time. Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So that just tells you that it takes some managers time to settle in. Ferguson was at Manchester United for around 26 years. So reflecting on that, he was a long-serving manager. Next year, Ralph Rangnick is going to offload players. Martial, as you all know, he's leaving. Cavani, I think he's also leaving next year. I'm hearing that Juventus want Cavani. And Barcelona are keen on signing Edison Cavani in January, but only for a modest price. We'll revert back to earlier on in the season. It said Cavani is interested in making a move to Barcelona. Cavani's out with injury at the moment. Cavani had an injury earlier on in the season. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. Cavani's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him as a player because Cavani won a lot of trophies when he was at PSG. And he was also a long-serving player when he was at PSG. Lingard, I think he's also leaving the football club next year. Not too sure where he's going to go though. I'm hearing that Newcastle are interested in him. I heard recently that Newcastle are preparing a contract offer. Revert back to earlier on in the season. It said West Ham want to re-sign Lingard. Revert back to the second part of last season. Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. I heard earlier on this season as well that Lingard wants to go abroad. Lingard doesn't really get in our team. He's only started 2 games this season. Lingard has been part of the club though for a long time. Original Power Academy in that he's had his good periods at Man United. He's also had his bad periods. The BBC said earlier on this season that Lingard's future at Man United is in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. His current contract expires next summer. If we sell Lingard in January, I reckon Man United can get around £10 million. Juan Mata, I think he's also leaving the football club next year. Juan Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Because revert back to earlier on in the year, Juan Mata extended his contract. I can't understand why Man United extended his contracts for the further year, because Juan Mata doesn't really get in the team, does he? Plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But despite that, Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. He's been a Manchester United player for 8 years, so he's been a long-serving player. Man United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for 40 million. Matic, there's a good chance that he'll be leaving the football club next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, is he? But despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Matic is only the predominant centre defensive midfielder that Man United have got. Surprisingly enough, he's been ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. Matic has got a cold at the moment. He actually played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys the other week. He started at centre-half in that game, surprisingly. Can't see him being deployed as a centre-half again. I've always had my reservations about Matic. He's always been a static midfielder in his aging up. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for around 40 million. Paul Pogba, if he leaves next year, he will leave in the summer. He won't leave in January, midway through the season. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back to the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Prior to the Norwich game, Ralph Rangnick will not try to persuade Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United if he wants to go. Pogba's not available at the moment because he's out with a thigh injury. Pogba got the thigh injury in France training earlier on this season. Pogba is out for the rest of the year with this thigh injury. He's been a big miss because revert back towards the start of the season, Pogba was in scintillating form. Pogba's got 7 assists so far in the league this season. Revert back towards the end of last season, Pogba put some good performances out. At one point last season, Pogba was out with a thigh injury and Pogba sustained some ankle injuries at Man United. Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. His former club Juventus are in for him, or was in for him. He enjoyed 4 good years at Juventus before he came back to Man United. PSG are in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. Inter Milan have been in for him before. Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, has been working hard now for quite some time to get his client to move away from the club. Manchester United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and this season is his 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. Donny van der Beek, there's a good chance that he'll leave in January because Van der Beek is not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. I said the only way we can persuade Van der Beek to stay, and that's if he gets the opportunities he's been demanding under Ralph Rangnick, because revert back to when we had Solskjaer, Van der Beek was getting nowhere near enough opportunities, and reflecting on that, Van der Beek was very frustrated. Van der Beek has only scored 2 goals for Man United, and he's been at Manchester United for over a year and a half now. This season's been his 2nd full season at the club. Man United got Van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract to Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and Van der Beek's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. I think our second choice fullbacks, Alex Telles and Dalot, could be leaving next year because they only seem to play when our first choice left backs fullbacks aren't available, and our first choice fullbacks are Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, not so long ago, Luke Shaw had a concussion. Luke Shaw missed like 4 games in a row in all competitions, and obviously Bissaka's got an injury at the moment. Obviously, had a hand injury the other week as well. So there you go. But yeah, Tellez and Delors have been playing a lot of football in recent weeks. Jones and Bailly, I think they'll be leaving the football club next year. And Dean Henderson has confirmed that he wants to go out on loan. Dean Henderson doesn't really get in goal now because revert back to last summer. De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back. Henderson was in goal for the 1-1 draw against Young Boys, but that was only his second appearance this season. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Henderson had COVID. Towards the end of last season, Henderson got the number 1 jersey, and to his credit, he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. Before the start of last season, Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. And he's got that experience behind him, enjoyed 2 loans with Sheffield, and he's had other loan spells before as well, so there you go. But Manchester United have got very good players. Look who we've got in the team. You've got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. Greenwood came on against Norwich last weekend. He did well in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys because he scored a very good volley in that game. He also got the assist for the Fred goal in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace the other week. Let me put into the equation that Greenwood was out for quite a while with COVID. Greenwood no longer has COVID now though, which is good news. At one point, Greenwood went a while without scoring, but despite that, he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so reflecting on that, he's been part of the club for a long time, and last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Manchester United have got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, Ronaldo scored the winning goal from the penalty against Norwich last weekend. Ronaldo won the penalty because he got dragged down by Max Aarons. But anyway, Ronaldo now has 13 goals in all competitions since he re-signed for Man United, and he's got 802 goals in his career. Ronaldo has won over 30 trophies in his playing career. Revert back to October, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month, and revert back to September, he got named Premier League Player of the Month. So reflecting on that, he's got back-to-back awards since he re-signed. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives around 480 grand a week. He's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo wears a number 7 shirt, and Man United got Ronaldo for 19.8 million, with add-ons included. Jadon Sancho, I think he's also a good player. He hasn't done as well at Manchester United as a lot of Manchester United fans expected. Like I've said before though, it does take some players time to settle in. I thought Sancho was poor against Norwich last weekend. He still looks a better player though than he did under Ole, because Sancho did very well against Crystal Palace the other week. He was very good in the first half, pretty poor in the second half. He was very, very good in the games against Villarreal and Chelsea because he scored in both of them games. Sancho's only scored 2 goals for the club so far, but revert back to when we had Solskjaer. Man United couldn't get the best out of Sancho because, Solskjaer was persistently playing him out of position, and there was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. Manchester United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. Let me put into the equation, Sancho endured 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund before he came to Man United. Edison Cavani's a good player, like I've said. Rashford, he's a good player overall. But Rashford's endured a lot of poor games since he come back from that shoulder problem. Now I think it's time for Ralph Rangnick to drop Marcus Rashford. Rashford was very poor against Norwich last weekend. He got dispossessed too many times. Rashford was poor against Crystal Palace the other week. He was also poor in the 3-2 win against Arsenal, even though he still managed to get an assist in that game. I also thought he was poor in the first half in the 1-1 draw against Chelsea, but he improved in the second half in that game. Rashford's not been the same player since he come back from that shoulder problem. Don't forget, Rashford was out with that shoulder problem for a while, and at one point he had to have an operation on the shoulder. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time though. He's been a Manchester United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2016, and Rashford's got a contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. Bruno Fernandes is an exceptional player, but I've got to be honest with you and say he's endured a lot of poor games this season. So reflecting on that, should Ralph Rangnick drop Bruno Fernandes as well as Rashford? Bruno Fernandes was exceptional last season, so can't understand why he hasn't replicated that this season. Let me put into the equation though, Bruno Fernandes starts the vast majority of Man United's games, so reflecting on that, he will become fatigue. Fernandes was very poor against Norwich last weekend. Got dispossessed too many times. He had chances against Crystal Palace the other week but couldn't convert them. He did alright in the 3-2 win against Arsenal, scored in that game. The last assist Bruno Fernandes provided was the 3-0 win against Tottenham, so that just shows that he's not in good form. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. We got Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Fernandes made it clear that he wants to stay at Man United, and when he first came to Man United, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." He's got a contract with the club till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. There you go. Donny van der Beek, he's also good as well, but haven't had a great deal of a perception on him at Man United. Pogba's also a good player. Like I said earlier on, he's been a big miss. Fred, now I've been very, very impressed with him in recent weeks. I'm hoping he can continue with these good performances. I thought Fred was very good against Norwich last weekend, probably the best player. Fred was also very good in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. He scored a stunning goal in that game late on. Wasn't only his goal against Palace why he was good though, his overall performance was good. Fred played well in the 3-2 win against Arsenal not so long ago, because in that game he got an assist and he won the penalty because he got brought down by Odegaard. And Fred did well in the 1-1 draw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge earlier on in the season. So if Fred continues with his good performances, my perceptions will start to change on him. I've heavily criticised Fred in the past. Manchester United got Fred for around 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago now. Now I think Luke Shaw is a good left back overall, but hasn't really proven how good he can be this season. And I'm shocked in that aspect because last season Luke Shaw was superb. You know, Luke Shaw's had a couple of injuries this season, hasn't he? So that's affected him. Luke Shaw, though, did well against Young Boys the other week. You know, he got the assist for the Mason Greenwood goal. I'm sure as the season goes on, you know, Luke Shaw will regain his form. You know, Alex Telles, you know, I think he's a good left back as well. Like I've mentioned, I said, you know, Telles is undroppable at the moment. He weren't that good against Norwich, but, you know, Telles performed well in the games against, you know, Crystal Palace and Arsenal. He did well in the 1-1 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's a good right back defensively, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. You know, Varane's a good centre-half, but he's still out with injury at the moment. He's got a hamstring injury. Varane's endured 2 injuries since he signed for the club because revert back to earlier on in the season. Varane had a groin injury and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. I think Eric Bailly, you know, is a good centre-half as well. He didn't start against Norwich, but he came on to replace Lindelof. Lindelof obviously went off with breathing difficulties and chest pains in the game against Norwich. Bailly was very good in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys last week. In all the games Bailly's played in this season, he's done well apart from the game against Man City. Harry Maguire, you know, he's good when he wants to be, but hasn't really proven how good he can be at Man United. And, you know, David De Gea, you know, he's a very, very good goalkeeper. Got to give him a lot of credit. He's done really well this season. Back to his best now, I'd say. You know, De Gea got man of the match in the game against Norwich last weekend. He made good saves to deny Timu Pukki. And he denied Kabat twice from 2 headed chances. So anyway guys, on my next video I'll be giving you an update on some transfer news. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.